Ladies and gentlemen, so far, so good. Just consider the key battleground state of Pennsylvania. I mean, wow, this voter registration data shows that the influence in the Keystone State is actually shifting. It's shifting to favor the GOP. You get nearly 55,000 registered Pennsylvania Democrats that changed their party affiliation this year. What's going on? Inflation's going on. Kamala Harris is going on. Incompetence is going on. And so what's happening? People are realizing in the state of Pennsylvania that they get a vote so as to help protect themselves. And you're seeing this, by the way, even in like very rural areas as well as urban areas. I mean, think about all the Amish that they've recruited. The Trump campaign has actually done a fantastic job. The RNC as well at getting some of these Amish voters to think about really getting out there and voting. So they've recruited a lot of them. You've got urban Pennsylvania voters as well. This is going to be a really, really tricky state. Now, more than 1.4 million voters are registered as third-party or independent voters in the Keystone State. Democrat Party accounts for nearly 44% of voters, but I should point out that the advantage that the Democrats have had has really, really dwindled significantly. In fact, the advantage used to be that there was something like a massive number. They had registration advantage over Republicans by some 685,818 votes, to be precise. That has been whittled down this year to, guess what? Less than half, 297,824. Okay, so basically they had nearly 700,000 voters as an advantage over Republicans, and now they have just nearly 300,000. This is really important because you think about how Pennsylvania went back in 16. You think of really how close it was back in 2020. And now you think about what's going down in this moment in time. And all of the polls in Pennsylvania really do point to, here's one from Real Clear Politics, Donald Trump there is the winner. He's up by 0.8%. This is a big deal. For Donald Trump to be up 0.8% in Pennsylvania, Kamala, this is not good news, right, for you, because you think about Clinton in 2016 was up 6.2 points, okay? She was up. Biden was up 4.9%. And Trump took it against Clinton. I think he's going to take it again. I really do. I think that, the polls are telling us this. Polymarket's telling us this. And so we need to think about how everything's happening and gelling together right now in this moment in time when you have people sending in those early ballots, and that advantage that historically the Democrats have had in this state, that has been whittled down and whittled down. Of course, if you listen to Elon Musk, there may be, and this is concerning, and I want to be very cautious about how I present this, but the fear is that what if they have something up their sleeves? What if they have other ways of getting around this? So this tweet came out from somebody at a group called Pennsylvania Chase, and they're trying to basically figure out, how they get all these registered voters to make sure that they're going and registering. And so they're going around and they're doing some canvassing and they're going and knocking on doors. And they knocked on this one door in this one place where allegedly there was a Republican mail-in ballot that had been unreturned. And what they discovered was that there were 53 registered voters there. It belonged to reportedly the Benedictine Sisters of Erie, Pennsylvania, but no one lived there. And so here's the video. They're looking here at, take a look, guys, at, wow, at all the women, the 53 women that live there, and they're primarily all registered as Democrats, or they lean Democrat, et cetera. There was one Republican that they tried to chase down, but then they couldn't find her because nobody actually lived there. So you can understand that this is a bit of a concern, right? Like this is the fear everybody has. So Elon Musk tweeted this out in response. He's like, 53 voters, no big deal. The concern here is what some of the NGOs have been doing at the homeless shelters. And in this particular one, it's something called Broad Street Love. It has served as a mailing address for 5,200 individuals. Now, obviously, that's great because, you know, if you're homeless, it's very hard to get a job because you don't have an address. You can't get mail anywhere. So the homeless shelter is offering this opportunity for you to have all that. And we commend that. We also commend, of course, everybody being registered to vote. Like you got to register to vote. And sometimes I get it. It's harder for some people than for others. So they try to make it easier in some places. But what happens when you're now in a situation where you're running the risk that they're just kind of going there like they do the nursing home, saying, hey, you know, fill this out. And then they're delivering it. And you have this political bias to the left. I don't want to go too deep down this rabbit hole because, you know, I'm Trish Regan, and I'm a little bit still optimistic about these things. And I like to think that, you know, people are not just going to vote the way somebody at the homeless shelter is telling them to vote. But I think we need to be aware of it. On the flip side of that, I would say, you know, hats off to Lara Trump and the RNC because they have done a terrific job there in the state of Pennsylvania. And by the way, Elon Musk as well, with his rallies that they now hate, where he's giving out $1 million or $1 million a day if you sign up for his petition. But the fact that they've gotten it down from 685,000, call it just 700. Okay, they had 700,000 voters. That was their lead, and now they've whittled down that lead, thanks to the GOP's really hard work, to roughly 300,000 of a margin. So it's a big, big, big deal. It really is, guys, and I'm impressed by it, and I'm encouraged by it.